All right, good afternoon, guys. So, want to pop on. Usually, or I'm trying to get in the focus of bringing newer content, relevant content, about twice a week. And obviously, you can catch the updates or catch things that um, were mentioned because these videos are posted to YouTube, and also I post more different content on YouTube as well to kind of help. But before begin, I wanted to quick shout out. Appreciate everyone joining the group, asking questions. Appreciate you being here. One quick announcement. As of Monday, I will open the group to be public to on Facebook to allow more access to help more people. When I first started the group, I was more concerned about uh, the information that people would share, and I wanted you to have a comfortable space. As I kind of watched information that's happening and things, I feel comfortable with opening it up to allow people to kind of learn, grow, and benefit from all the things that are being shared. So just wanted to make that known and present. And then I'll also announce it come Monday when I open the group to be public. Um, if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page. Still trying to grow that platform. Share the video if you find things on there. There's all different types of topics from index funds to stocks to what am I investing in to how to grow your career, how to invest, how to even open an account. What options do you have for your kids? What options do you have for yourself? Try to make sure I cover everything there and break it down if necessary for piece by piece so that you can walk through it and have some content. And the more you digest these things, the more it'll train your mind to start looking at things in a financial way. It kind of goes past just reading books and having conversations. It's more giving you information of things that you just don't know because you're just not in that. Maybe you don't really work with money all the time, or you don't necessarily look at it. But that's what that's there for. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like, share a video, comment. All those things help on that particular platform to get it shown to more people. So your money, your problem. The fact is, what you do with your money and the end result of everything that happens with your money is ultimately based off your decision. The caveat is you don't have to go at this thing alone. So many things happen with our money to where it's so subtle, and the things that happen are so they're small changes, and you don't really even realize what's happening until someone makes a big news broadcast or something happens. So a good example of that is recently the inflation numbers that came out from this time last year, and it showed us at 5%. Now, the Fed is really trying to hold that down to about 2.5% average. But this first year, obviously, with things happening with the pandemic illness, that has caused inflation to rise up. So you've seen it in your gas prices. You've seen it at the grocery store. We know the supply chain and shipping, all those things took a hit and make it more difficult to get items, goods, and services across from a delivery standpoint. But what you see is a subtle change in how people are working, what things are contributing to these factors. So, in the case of gas, well, less people are driving, but then also we've had issues from an oil, different oil events that have occurred that have caused that price to spike up. It's not just from a price gouge, even to the point of a lot of service stations were out of gas not 2-3 weeks ago. But how do you adjust for that in your budget? Because the fact is, oftentimes you still need gas. Do you stop going so many places? Do you, even if you're going to your regular places, well, now it's costing you more. And that still starts to put tension on your budget. Your money is your problem. It's more your responsibility. You have to not you have to take the time to look at what's your situation. You have to be able to make adjustments based off what's going on. So we all know when you get a new job and you get a raise, obviously you're going to sit down because you're like, oh, how much more money will I have? But when things are happening and you're starting to see that your expenses are starting to rise, how do you make adjustments for that? How do you adjust your food bill knowing that things are the prices are rising on different things? Well, the thing is, even in the grocery store piece, not every grocery store is going to charge you the same thing. So do you diversify and start going to multiple different grocery stores? Do you cut down on your budget? Do you change what type of meals you're preparing? Are you buying a different brand of food to try to offset and keep that budget in line? Are you even tracking how much you're actually spending? These things are important for you to gain control of your money, because the fact is, if you ignore your money, much like if you ignore your health, that doesn't stop your health from deteriorating. It doesn't stop your money from deteriorating. You have to have a clear set vision, a clear set objective with your money that's going to help motivate and move it forward. And then the things that you don't know, you have to really embark on trying to figure out what are my opportunities, not just to cut, but make things a lot easier for myself. So one of the things that I mentioned constantly in the group is, if you haven't refinanced your home at this point, even if you did refinance, the fact is, if you refinance and you're still in the threes, whether you have a 620 score, whether you have a 640 score, whether you have a 700 score, whether you have a 740 score, the fact is you should honestly be in the 2 point whatever. If it's a 30-year you're going after, well, most people do a 30-year, but I'm going to advocate that look at how much time you've been in your home. If you've been in there a couple of years, try to do the 25-year or the 20-year. If you do that plus the savings of the interest rate, you still could end up a little bit further ahead and saving more money, meaning more money is going to your principal, your real estate account every month. The other thing is, you want to look at what's your area. So if you're in Missouri, Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, Illinois, those are, from a cost perspective, some of the cheapest places to stay when it comes to refinancing your home. The reason for it, meaning you can very well drop the rate 0.5%, which is not normally industry standard, but you can still get a good deal because you stay in an area where the cost is low. Remember, you're weighing the benefit of the interest rate, how much you're paying in interest, your new interest rate, versus how much you're spending in costs that you don't get recouped, like taxes and insurance if you have escrow. And that's how you figure out your break even. And if that break even is 2 years or less, then that's good for you to refinance. You're not looking at, does my payment go down? You're not looking at um, what cash can I get out? You're not looking at those things. Those are opportunities that you may have, but it's more about this biggest debt that you have, most people have on most line items on a person's budget. Can you get this as cheap as possible in one of the historically cheapest moments to do it? And that is why that's important. The second thing that most people have is they all obviously have a car loan. And what I've seen over the past couple of weeks, car loan rates are down to 1.99%. Either you're buying or if you want to refinance. Many people are ready to do that because we're still in a period where lending is being encouraged, and things are, and corporate borrowing and business borrowing, all these different things are starting to show increase. And obviously that, from an economy standpoint, makes things look better. But these are ways that you can start to save money on what you're paying the institution to borrow this asset and ultimately get rid of it sooner. As far as the debt, you may want to sell it or what have you. Maybe you have a car that has a little value, you drove it for a little while. Well, this is also a good time, just like a house, to sell your car. Why is it a good time? Because there's a huge vehicle shortage, which is what drove the price up for vehicles. But what if you have to buy a new car? Can you still get a good deal in this market? Yes, you can still get an excellent deal. My wife purchased a car during the pandemic, still got a car very competitive with equity and with all the bells and whistles, plus all the packages wrapped up into the price. She did a very excellent job in that purchase. It does take due diligence. You can't go out and buy a car tomorrow. It takes time to build these things. And since all this stuff is happening in the economy, the inflation, the rising of grocery costs, the rising of this, why am I not seeing this overall in the stock market? Well, the thing is, the stock market, when early on, it had priced these things in. And so those who were basically investing last year, they got a lot of benefit for what would be gains this year. Not a bad thing. It's just they bought at a lower, whether you buy index fund stocks or whatever you were buying, you were able to buy at a lower cost. Even the total stock market index fund or the S&P 500, those were for Fidelity, those were being bought per share at about $116, $117 last year. Now it's at 120, 121. It's continually rising, which, like I tell you all the time, you want that consistent growth over time. Not saying it's going to jump ridiculously, but you can actually move the needle forward. So I say all this to really put an intense focus for you. It's important that you look at your budget. You cannot leave anything out of this budget. You need, I don't care if you're going out, I don't care if you're buying clothes, I don't care if you're traveling, I don't care what you're planning to pay. You need to account for that in all of your income. You can't just leave out anything. So if they were making your car and they put an engine in your car, but they forgot to put or they say, hey, we're just only going to put 2 tires on the car, and it's a 4-tire car. Is that car going to last very long? Or if you were going in to get your brakes done, maybe they gave you new brakes, but your rotors and your calipers and all that stuff is bad. But no, they're not going to take care of that. They're not going to let you know that's still going to ruin your brakes. You can't half do this. You can't partially do this, because anything that you do a little bit when it comes to your money will result in the worst scenario. You need to be all in focused on growing the money, growing how you're dealing with your money, and ultimately opening the opportunity for you to have the choice of how you want to live your life. What's the question you want to answer? The first question I asked myself was, what type of solution am I trying to get? What's really getting me? And the problem was, I was sick of every time I didn't have a job, I didn't have any money. It was, I had to go get something. I wanted to be able to be taken care of. And what saving and being prepared for a job loss or transition or a job moving to a different state, what these things did, when you have an actual emergency fund, when you're investing your money in, what this does for you is it opens up the opportunity where you can take your time and everything isn't so pertinent priority and everything is on fire. No, you could take your time. If you lost your job during the pandemic, you can take your time to get you a better job during the pandemic. But if you don't have that space, you don't have that margin, then it's going to make things difficult when you particularly lost your job. That even takes me to one other aspect. This is an incredible time to increase your income. The most thing, no one is ever going to be mad or have a bad situation if you're making more income. And with the idea that there is, but we've hardly ever seen a worker or labor shortage, it presents the opportunity that if you present yourself to that next opportunity, you're number one going to get offered a higher salary, when historically we know over the last few years, wages have not kept up with the cost of living. So that benefits you, and it makes you going in to negotiate salary, asking for money above what they're going to offer you is high value to make progress forward. The whole point of this is you have to focus on your money. Your money is your problem. But the thing is, you don't have to walk along with it. There are many different resources. Like I said, I offer myself, I offer any partners or anything I know that can help get you to your goal. You just only need to sit there and say, hey, I need a little bit of help getting past this little hump. I need to find out what other options is. And you'll be surprised there are more options that are positive for your situation than when you just try to figure it out yourself. Because honestly, I don't ever know what options I have in repairing my car until I go talk to a mechanic. You have to speak with someone who works in this space, who knows the space, who is willing to help teach you the space so that you can figure out how to get your options. You're not going to know something that you don't spend any time in. You're not going to know something if you don't know how it operates. So I would encourage you, hit that DM, ask a question, figure out something, because the thing about this money thing, things are fluid. It continually evolves. What's a problem today may not necessarily even be a priority tomorrow. What you're dealing with right now may not even be on your horizon. But if you're consistently living paycheck to paycheck, if today is Friday, you got your check is gone, and you have no money left over, you have no money in savings, if you lost your job, or if you have to take care of an emergency that's $10,000 and that's going to put you out, or even if you have to take care of a $400 emergency and that's going to mess you up, we need to talk, because you shouldn't have to live that way. And I want to make sure that you are on track for your life, whatever you want to do. Can't measure you against my goals because that's my life. But I do want you to understand that there is opportunity way beyond what you can see right now. And the reason why I say that is because there are some things that you want and will desire that you haven't even encountered yet. So because you're just not in the space to know about it. And that can be a wonderful thing, but then also, depending on the other thing, there are going to be some things that you encounter that you don't even know that could be a negative thing. And I want you to be prepared for life, but then I also want that preparation to put you in a position to thrive. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Just wanted to pop on. Hope you enjoyed the weekend, and I can't wait to talk to you guys next week.